Hello survivors, welcome to another Soulstone survivor video. Today we are playing on the Sentinel. It is another character, but before we get into this, I mean another character that you guys chose, but before we get into this, I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. First thing is the skins. A lot of you have been asking about them, so these are actually the DLC, the Corrupted Sentinels. It was part of the DLC, the supporter pack for the game. It gave a skin for all of them, a red skin, corrupted skin for them, which is pretty cool. So that's where that came from. And then if you're looking for their other attire, you have to unlock their entire skill tree for that character. So you need to get them to level 170 in order to get their second skin over there, in case you're wondering about that. But we'll play with the normal skin, not the corrupted one for now. Also, a while ago, there was actually a community mod put into the game for you guys to develop skins. So that's why you see this one over here. And if we look at the weapon, I've actually got like a sword and shield, but it actually changes their stance completely. That's really, really cool. But anyway, we're not playing with that. Today, we wanted to play with the Sentinel. We are going to be playing a crit build with the Sentinel, where we're focusing purely on crit. So every single Titan that we'll be taking is going to be crit based. So we're going to be focusing on MHYZAHET as well as on ARUANAK, because ARUANAK has movement speed and crit chance, and the MHYZAHET has a chance to gain form on hit, where form gives you a critical strike chance. And then with regards to our skills, we do have to use Unexpected Arsenal as a rune. This one over here. If you don't have the rune, guys, if you click on the rune, it will either tell you when you hover over it where to unlock it, or it will tell you over here where it is that you need to unlock the rune. Otherwise, if you're having trouble with that, you can just let me know and we can try and help you, or I can try and help you figure out how to get the rune that you're looking for. But yeah, in game it pretty much tells you everything now that you need to know. Back in the day when these things first came out and things, we never used to actually know how to unlock them, besides for looking through the achievements or just unlocking them and then talking to each other on the Discord. But yeah, so that's how that. Weapon wise, we're using our second weapon because we wanted to focus on cluster bomb, which is we're going to be bleeding, and then the damage is multiplied based on our critical strike chance, and that's why we're going for the crit chance. And we're using the Unexpected Arsenal so that we can gain shoot. The reason we're going shoot is because of the 0.7 second cooldown on it. And then we're also going to be grabbing ourselves spread shots, which gives us dazed as well as aptitude. So we're going to have a lot of crit chance, and we're going to have a lot of critical strike damage. So it's going to be quite an interesting build, and we'll see what goes on from there. The other runes are devastation, so we only use those 3 skills. That just also means that our crits now deal 3 times more damage as well. And then synergetic, because we're going to go from a projectile to bomb, which means that the cluster bomb is going to go off far more often. So we've got projectile 1 here and then projectile 2 here. That's why they've also got really low cooldowns, so that we can shoot the cluster bomb off far more often, dealing more damage. And then I've taken advanced tactics for all of our skills to have 20% chance to apply brittle, just because last time I tried this, it didn't really feel like it did a lot of damage when it came to the Corrupted Void Hunter. So I actually struggled to defeat the Corrupted Void Hunter. Hopefully by adding this in and doing the right bosses and things like that, it's going to be a lot better. Order of bosses doesn't actually matter. We do just need to make sure we stay away from the goblin, because we don't actually want to have a double boss fight of the same boss, because then we can't get what we're looking for. We're literally taking the same passives over and over again, so we'll see. There was recently an update on Steam, so if you're playing on console and you're watching this, and you might see something a little bit different, like maybe on your game a specific boss didn't do this or didn't do that. The Shadow Lords of the Void, which are these guys over here, have had their area of effects reduced. This update will be coming to console and GOG as well as Epic very soon. Right now, I think they're testing it out on the Steam first, or Steam will always get the updates first, because that's where the game was originally brought out on. Alright, we got shoot nice and early. We need the critical strike chance. Not looking for damage for that, so we're going to grab the magnetic. And we're looking for spread shot. Beautiful. Get them nice and early. And we can actually grab some block power as well. Reduce the time necessary for Panthers to appear is actually really nice. So it starts off at 40 seconds. If we reduce that, it's... Sorry, that was my bad. It doesn't actually tell you the amount. It used to be a minute though. So we should be down to 54 seconds now. How do I know this? It's because I've been playing for a very long time. And these are questions that I had asked way back in the day when we originally discovered the Ascensions. So there was originally a bug with the Sentinel where you could permanently be up on your Panther because you got the duration lower than the cooldown. And the developers didn't want that, so they made it so that the Panther wouldn't appear immediately after you dismounted. You had to wait a certain amount of time, so that's why you got the card that reduces the amount of time you wait. Yeah, you used to literally be able to dismount and then remount, and it used to just be very strong. I mean, the Sentinel gets an extra dash, you get insane amounts of damage and cast frequency as well, so it made sense. It's a very powerful Ascension, just a lot of people don't like chasing the Panther around, which I get as well. Okay, we get bleed to poison. We're going to stick to just bleed for today. We need the crit. Cast frequencies are the most important. Again, just bleed. We're not really trying to do damage with bleed. We just apply bleed because of the skill itself. Today, it's mostly just critical strike chance and critical damage.
One more step forward. The hunt sharpens.
And this isn't a set in stone build either. I just thought it would be quite fun to play only crit and not anything else. But otherwise, what you should do is run Shattered. You should run the Devastation from Volks and Viv. You should run Exposed from MHYZAHET and just things like that. All those beautiful upgrades that you can get that we normally get on every other character. But I thought it'd be fun to just like scale a single thing that we can with the Titans and see if it is able to defeat the bosses or not. And that's where we are headed today. Okay, there we go. Boss is down. Again, we don't want to defeat the goblin. It's not necessary. Increase the duration. We're not interested. Multicast, very good. Another multicast, beautiful. Area of effect is good. Increase the damage of bleed is fine. And we just want to make sure, yep, we're going to try and get as much crit. Now, the reason we do MHYZAHET first, there actually isn't a reason, but MHYZAHET has the chance to gain form on hit. Form is a buff that has a hard stack limit of 1,000. What it does is we literally going to try and get as much of it as possible. I don't think we'll get to even more than 50 stacks, but it just increases our critical strike chance. So that's going to increase the damage multiplier on Cluster Bomb, and that's why we do it. Alright, movement speed's going to be important here. We're going to remove Leviathan. We're going to grab ourselves the reduced actually health is better. Increase critical strike chance on the first hit is good. Yeah, we can just reduce the time. Multicast, cast frequency. We are going to get these two down to about 0.2 seconds and 0.4 seconds. Even better if we can get this down to 0.2 seconds. And then this, it doesn't really matter because hopefully we can find a, what do we call it? The skill chains is what I was looking for. Alright, damage isn't too bad yet. The only problem is we have to aim because neither of these skills really puncture, if that makes sense. They don't pierce the enemy, is the wording. Okay, every time you cast any skill, you have a chance to gain form. That's 5% chance to gain 2% critical strike chance. So we'll increase our critical strike chance by 2% for 6 seconds. So if we can even get 40 stacks of that, that's 80% increased critical strike chance. So we're going to try and get as much as possible. Again, we're going for ARUANAK. ARUANAK is going to give us flat critical strike chance as well as movement speed. So we actually don't need movement speed from our passives because we're going to get it now from ARUANAK. But it's nice to have regardless. There are skills that give form, but I wanted this to be a projectile build or something without using even, because we had to use unexpected arsenal. I mean, what we could have done is gone for like thrust skills instead. We could have gone thrust to bomb, but I wanted to make it a projectile build. I wanted to use the skills that were native to the character. So if you're wondering, oh, okay, broken wall, I mean, there were other ways of doing this, and you could have then gone for the shattered on hit, or you could have gone for this and this and this. Yes, that's very true, but because I wanted to make it a build based on the skills that this character could use, we decided not to do it that way. Multicast on all frontal, that's really good. Increase the damage of the applied bleeds, and then more multicast. Not getting any skill chain, which is a bit unfortunate, and I'm also not getting the damage increases for our cluster bomb, which is also really bad. So right now our damage is fine. We're still doing relatively well because we're able to get the crit and crit damage, but there we go. Okay, we got one. We finally found one. Ooh, yes, okay, this is actually very good as well. We can get aptitude to prowess. What that does now is it's going to give us increased damage. So not only do we get increased critical strike chance, critical damage, but we're also getting increased flat or percentage or flat damage as well, which is great. So grab that, more cost frequency, and another prowess. It's actually really good because we get aptitude from 3 sources. We get it from our skill tree, we get it from our 2 skills as well, from shoot as well as spread shot. So we're going to get a lot of aptitude. We should hit the 1k hard cap limit on prowess, and that's going to increase our damage a lot.
Let's keep going.
We'll actually take note of the damage increase. So what's going to happen is when prowess stacks disappear, so once we've got all the objectives, we'll see what our damage amount is at, and then without increasing our actual damage through the tree or powerful strikes, we'll take a look at what our damage goes up to via the actual stacks themselves. Reduce the time necessary for the panther to appear. Well, I think we might actually get rid of them just because they are, I mean, we don't have to get rid of it, but we can re-roll whenever we see it, because it's kind of useless for us. Although the panther is super strong and it does help make things go faster, we don't need it.
Soon I'll face the Titan.
Okay, more crits, bleed, critical strike, damage for cluster bomb. That's the kind of thing we need to look for. So we don't need expansive. I'm going to remove that. We're going to re-roll here. There's a crit, multicast there, beautiful. HP is also very, very useful. We don't need the movement speed, but I'm going to take it once, and we're actually going to remove movement speed now as well. Multicast, and then no, the multicast is more important. Bleed now causes damage more frequently. It's also very strong.
Faster, deadlier. Comma. Better not mess with my accent again.
But again, I did say we're not going to really focus on bleed, but when you get a rare upgrade that makes it so the bleed just deals a bit more damage, that's extra damage you otherwise wouldn't have had, so
Closing in.
I'll take it. Let's re-roll, try and get damage. Okay, I'm going to banish that. Again, don't want the doom, I mean the poison. I want to try and keep this to not be a dot run and just purely a crit run, although I keep saying that and I keep taking bleeds on hit and things like that. Kind of silly. It's lost boss is down.
Is mine. Their guard is failing.
And we've got 8 level ups, so let's quickly do that also, just so you guys can see we're on 70% damage without taking damage upgrades. We'll see. I'm going to take Unbreakable. I know a lot of people probably don't think it's very useful. All it does is make it so that everything deals 2 less damage to us, so it gives us 2 damage reduction. Our damage reduction is currently on 3, so it's a flat amount. It now goes to 5, and that's actually quite useful. I know people probably don't think it is, but it is actually very, very useful. So we're going to take it. Because it kind of works well with armor. So we take 34% less damage from that. And then we take 5 damage less from any hit. So all that stuff kind of deals less damage to us. 70% damage. Let's see before the boss dies how many stacks of prowess we can get and what that does for us in terms of damage. So we'll just keep the stacks going. We're on 100 stacks right now, so a good amount. Literally, it's a 1-for-1. So 1% of prowess. It says damage is supposed to be 2%. And we're on 100 stacks, so it should be 200% increase, but it's only giving us 100%. So I think that may be a little bit of a bug over there. We will get this explored to see if it is working correctly. Visually, that is bugged. Alright, so this is what we wanted. Increase your movement speed as well as our critical strike chance. So we're currently on 3.4 times damage multiplier. If we click on that, we're now on a 4.2, so, or 4.1. So our damage multiplier just went up by a whole lot. I don't know if anyone's been keeping count on the form stacks that we've been getting, but our critical strike chance is now 187%. And if you see over there, that little sword there where it says 4, that is the form. So we actually need more cooldown reduction. We're not getting enough form stacks. We're only on 20 now as a max amount. We do get increased cast frequency here, so we should see a difference in amount. But you can definitely see the damage has increased now.
Let's keep going. Many more fragments to collect. Void fragment is mine! Their guard is failing!
Maybe I never explained this correctly, and you guys are probably wondering, or you'll probably end up asking it in the comment section, but the reason why I took, or I'm not really doing certain things with the character compared to, you know, playing a stronger build or taking poison or things like that, is it's just like a personal challenge to me. I'm like, okay, can I make this specific skill work if I'm only using that you know, critical strike chance, because that's how it scales. If you were to play this build yourself, you know, I would recommend you taking the poison or bleed poison, because poison is ridiculously powerful, and things like that. Whereas I'm not doing it, and it's just a personal thing. It's just because I want to see how far I can push the build, and whether or not it is actually possible to do such a thing, you know, with the build. I'm going to get rid of these. We can't use them against the bosses anyway. We finally get a projectile to bomb upgrade over there. We can get rid of the lacerates now as well. We've got 3 more. So we're just going to get rid of them. The reason why we banish skills is so that they stop showing up. And when they stop showing up, it means that other skills now have an opportunity, or other passives now have an opportunity to show up more often. So if I had to get rid of powerful strikes, for instance, we'll stop seeing it. It takes away the common, the uncommon, and the rare variant, and we'll therefore see more upgrades for all of our other passives whenever we level up. So if you don't need a specific passive, like we don't need expansive or area of effect with this build, it's really good to just banish it. In this case, we don't really need our Panther. I know I took a bunch of them in the beginning. I guess I was just being silly, but yeah, we don't need them. Magnetic, once we get to about 100%, we'll probably also remove it. Now's a good time to do that. We could get rid of the damage over there, but we'll get rid of them in the future. Critical strikes apply bleed. We've already got 2 of these. I'm just going to ignore it. It's rare. It shouldn't show up too often. We're going to get rid of the bleed now. Bleed causes more damage. I think we'll take it just because it's a really decent amount of extra damage. But it's not necessary. Again, we're trying not to do the bleeding part, and I've taken too much bleed already. So I wasted a good amount of passives where I should have just removed bleed from the equation. Alright, cast frequency and multicast. And then damage is only focused on the cluster bomb. And we did pick up... Oh no, we never even took the other dash. So that was pretty silly of us. See, the other thing with the Panther is as soon as you're actually doing an objective, we can't even leave the circle now to find or get the Panther. So it really doesn't work well in Titan Hunt. And it just disappeared because we finished. So it's like, oh, okay, well, that kind of ended that. Okay, crit. I'm looking for damage now. Merciless is good damage. That's more damage, but we don't really need that right now. I guess we can go for the legendary area of effect. That's rare, it shouldn't show up more often. 211% critical strike chance, fantastic to see. And then a legendary critical strike chance. One more reroll. It wasn't critical strike chance legendary, it was something else. Why did I say legendary? Weird. Anyway, that's whatever. Gonna pick up another form. I haven't even been paying attention to how many stacks of it we have been getting. All I know is currently we're on 200% critical strike chance. And we are absolutely dominating. Yeah, you see, we're doing way too much bleed. 237. We don't have enough form stacks, so that's why we're doing this again. So now we go and we're taking every time you cast any skill, you have a chance to apply it to gain form. So now we're going to gain even more form stacks. And now we go back and we fight ARUANAK again, and we take the movement speed and critical strike chance. And it's funny because you'll probably think to yourself, but Broken, what's the point of going over 100% critical strike chance? Well, not only does it increase the damage multiplier, but it also increases the damage of every hit. Now, the way that crit works in this game is you get something called a multi-crit, where if you have over a percentage of critical strike chance, there's a chance that you can crit multiple times with a single attack. So as I'm attacking every 0.2 seconds with just the skill, we will be definitely critting 2 times per attack or per 0.2 seconds. And we also have 59% chance to crit a third time in that single 0.2 seconds. So in every second, we're going to be critting up to 15 times. And that's just on one skill. That's not taking into consideration the 0.3 second cooldown on spread shots or the 2.4 second cooldown on the main skill. So that's why we do the crit the way that we do it, because you can multi-crit as well. And that's not even taking into consideration multi-cast as well, where the skill multi-cast multiple times as well. So it gets pretty crazy. It's also why critical damage is also important. As you can see, we are sitting on a hefty amount of that as well. We can't really get more critical cast chance on that, so we're not going to really go for that one specifically. We can get more cast frequency on this. It's actually also on 0.2 now. Just grab one more because the lower limit of it is actually 0.15, but the tooltip never shows that to you. So if you just make it to 0.2 seconds, you can actually lower it even further. Alright, multicast, good. If we can find, that's good. Merciless are going to be great now. Okay, we actually on 60 stacks of form. But yeah, the form isn't really doing us that much of a favor. I don't know, I guess you could do without it and just grab flat critical strike chance. It looks like it's a much better option. I mean, 291%. I think if we got rid of the devastation and added thrust skills, we could probably get to a far higher critical strike chance. But I mean, it's all about trying different and weird and wonderful things. So I'm actually happy with what it is right now and where we are in the run. Do we get it? We did. Somehow. That was weird. Somehow we managed to get onto the Panther in time. Okay, there we go. And done and dusted. Beautiful.
Many more fragments to collect.
There's a 2-fight right here at the end. Now, remember, what I mentioned before is I have tried this in the beginning of the video. I mentioned it. And we weren't able to defeat the corrupted Void Hunter just because of I didn't do the 2 bosses at the same time sort of story. What I actually did is I took like Shattered and I took other things and I just took 1 of each of them. This time I took 2 of each. And I also took the Brittle, which is going to give us far more damage. Brittle is just completely broken, guys. If you add this to any build, you're going to be seeing much more, you know, stronger builds than if you didn't have the rune equipped. So, Brittle makes the world go round in Soulstone Survivors. Alright, you can see already we're not doing too much damage to the boss. There we go. Let's go and increase the damage over here, and then we're going to grab the movement speed and critical strike chance from 271 up to 311. That just means now that we are guaranteed to crit with every single hit 3 times. Alright, hasn't taken us much time. Let's see if we are able to defeat the corrupted Void Hunter.
Let's open the primordial portal.
Oh, some useless trivia for those who are very curious. The original voice for the Sentinel was Scottish. Yes, or Irish. One of the two. It was a very, you know, it was either Scottish or Irish. I think it was Irish? I'm going to go with Irish, I think it was. But yeah, it's just a little bit of something that I know that no one else knows. Well, now you all know, though. Okay. Next boss fight. This, I know we mentioned we're not doing bleed, but the fact that we got that's really good for us, so we are going to take it. Our damage amounts, we're nearly on 1000% increased damage, so we can actually go and increase that even further. Obviously, it is going to help us. Imagine now we added Shattered into the build and Exposed and all that other lovely stuff. So again, if you're playing with it, you just add Shattered, add whatever. Your stats wouldn't be that far different. I mean, the skill itself as a base stat wouldn't have 7.5, but you might have like 5 times the damage, and that's still a pretty good amount to have. And you'd probably land up doing more damage anyway because of having Shattered and other things like adding the devastation to it. So instead of being a times 15 multiplier, you'd have a times 30 multiplier or whatever it was, because you'd be able to have, I mean, instead of having a times 3 multiplier, you'd now have a times 5 multiplier because you have the 300% increase to it. And just silly things like that. They make a big difference. Alright, we're back on our kitty.
Piece by piece, the Void King's door will open.
I don't like it when the game doesn't give us big numbers. So in this case, I'm happy we get a 4 over here. I know someone just the other day shared an image on the Discord or my Discord showing that they got 3 of those 4 things on a single On the very first map, I believe it was. Like as they started, I think they were like 5 minutes into the game, and whichever number they were on, they actually got, you know, 3 of those in a single time. So literally, they can speed run that Val. It's pretty insane. Okay, there's another physical. Oh, okay, I will take that. I'll take the damage there as well. Beautiful. There's crit, more damage. Thank you. We're finally getting some damage upgrades. Oh, so good. So good to see them happening. Because we're not getting that much damage on the skill, which is a bit of a problem. Let's just re-roll a bit over here. No damage for the skill. I don't know why the skill. I don't know why the game doesn't want to give us the damage for cluster bomb. It's giving us damage for everything else. We don't need more. Oh, that's only on 0.3. Oh, we must have had our... Okay, that makes sense. We must have had our Panther on, which gave us additional cast frequency. So that's why we were able to hit 0.2 on there. But moment of truth, let's see if going for just the critical strike chance multipliers or critical strike chance passives from the Titans can change the amount of damage we're going to do to the Arcane Weaver. The AoEs, or the AoEs got nerfed of the Corrupted Void Hunters, and so did the cooldown for them. So the boss fights were made slightly easier, but that might be on different difficulties. Doesn't seem like it's that much more different. But remember, like I mentioned, we weren't even able to defeat the Corrupted Void Hunter last time, and we were able to do that now. Alright, let's see. Increase critical strike chance by 100%. So we go from 8.2 up to a 10.2 times more damage. Perfect. Fantastic. Love to see it. Now, it was mentioned that there will be a skip button for this eventually. When it comes out, I have no idea, but I'm excited to get it. Like I mentioned, it is really cool. I love the voices. I love the fact that there's this animation in that, but after you do it 20, 30 times a day or even more, yeah, it eventually just like, okay, we want to defeat you now. We don't need to listen to your story anymore. All right. What's nice about this build is we are actually ranged, so we don't have to worry. Like last time we were melee, so it became a lot harder. Or yesterday with the Death Knight. Oh, we got a little... I don't know if that's supposed to be there. Maybe the cat was trying to run away, and the way they've made the arena is that it can't. Or it has spawned here for us to activate already. Which means if it did... oh, it did. So it might actually be worth taking some points into your Panther. Because the stats you get from it are actually incredible.
No, I am the king. I am the king.
And then the passive you'll take from the Lord of the Void if you wanted to continue fighting is you could go for the disoriented on hit. That would be the main one, just to increase the amount of critical damage you do. The other one that you could go for is the damage cast frequency and movement speed, and or something like fragility on hit or any of those other ones. But yeah, this was pretty cool. I would definitely go for the disoriented on hit if I was continuing with the crit to see how far it goes. But I did mention that we'll try and go with a long run. I think I'm going to do it on the Samurai or the Machinist, because both of those guys have insane potential. Otherwise I might do something on like the Engineer. We haven't really played much on them. Or we could just try a random one, take a first look at like Beastmaster's Ascension and try and run him, not Ascension, his artifact power, and see how far we can push that. But there we go, much easier when you're playing ranged and when you're critting every single hit 500 times. nearly 500. That was quite funny, but 443% critical strike chance, insane amounts of crit chance that made the skill do far more damage. And we'll see now at the end just how much damage it actually did. But really fun little build. Quite safe because you're ranged, quite enjoyable. Sentinel has multiple dashes as well, which makes her far more useful, or you know, typically stronger than other characters as well in terms of movement speed. There's the disoriented, so disoriented makes it so it increases the critical strike damage taken by enemies, and because we're critting so much, it's just a massive upgrade if we were going to go into the purple portal. But for today, not really. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Cluster bomb dealing 673 billion damage. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.